we're recreating Dance Monkey by Tones and I on Soundtrap.com. Starting our project fresh and clean, I'm going to start off with adding a beat. I want to have it sound like the correct drum set first before I do anything. I know the song starts with piano, but I really do want to get the beat sounding right. I'm setting my tempo to 98. It's super important. If it's any faster, it's not going to sound like Dance Monkey. So now we're going to play the same game of which drum set sounds the best. And I like this one, Swish, the most because that snap sound. That snap sound is super important because they use snaps in the song. So instead of finding a new kit that has snaps, we can just use these snaps right here. So I like it. I'm keeping it that way. And our song is actually only 4 measures long this time. So I'm going to drag my loop to 4 measures. And as you saw here, I moved this gray thing from 8. Now it's underneath the 5, but it's giving me 4 full measures. 1, 2, 3, 4. It stops at the 5. So now what I can do is go over here to this loop option. And if I click that, it'll forever play this drum beat. When it gets to the end, it'll jump back to the beginning. Fantastic. So now this might sound crazy, but I want to separate the snaps from the bass drum. So I'm going to go over here and click the 3 dots and hit duplicate track. I'm going to go into the first beat and erase the bass drums. I'm going to go to the second one and I'm going to erase the snares. So now I have the ability, let's go back to the beginning, and a fast key for that, or quick key, enter takes you back to the beginning, space bar starts the track. But now I can go through and just mute the kick drum and just hear the snaps. And that'll come in handy later. All right. The next thing I want to add is that iconic piano sound. So we're going to go straight for a normal clean piano. And the first 2 notes we hear are 3 and R. You can definitely do that at home. You can put 1 finger on 3, 1 finger on R, and we're going to hit 8 of those in a row. Put 1 finger on 3, 1 finger on R, and we're going to hit that 8 times in a row. Now, luckily, it doesn't matter if you play it perfectly because I found the quantize settings. The first video I made, I had no idea where quantize was, and it took a quick Google search, and now we're all set with that. So 3 and R. I'm going to press record. First, before we record, I'm going to turn my metronome on, and you can't see that because it's right behind my Swiss Classroom logo. And I'm now going to press the record button. So now I should have 8 groups of 2. I'm going to click on my loop here, and I'm going to zoom in. And what we're going to see is that they're definitely not perfect. They're not even close to perfect. They're not even hitting at the same time. So quantizing, which is going to make things a lot easier. I'm going to start by hitting Control A on my keyboard. It selects all the notes I just played. I'm going to right click and hit quantize, and then I'm going to select 1/8, which means 8th note. And they all snap right into place. So it sounds like I played it perfectly now. Perfect. Now, we know there's more notes than this, but instead of playing everything and mastering it on the keyboard, which I find difficult, I'd rather play it on a real piano. But instead, I'm going to copy and paste what we just did. So I selected all my notes, copied. I'm moving this bar to exactly where it says 2. That's where measure 2 starts. And if I hit Control V, V for Victor, all my notes show back up. I'm going to drag them until my top note says G flat. So now I should have D for dog. There we go. D for dog on bottom, and it says G flat but F sharp in my head. Let's hear the first 2. Fantastic. Now we're going to do something very similar. I'm copying and pasting. I'm lining up the purple cursor on measure 3, and I hit paste. And now I'm going to slide that first line up to G sharp, which is A flat. I don't know why it's exactly the opposite of what I want. And then this one up to E. Let's hear what those 3 sound like. Awesome. And while listening to that, I noticed my bass drum is really maxing out my headphones. So I'm going to go up here to the volume option and just bring it down a little bit. Let's see if that fixed my problem. It's not that aggressive anymore. I can still hear it, but it was definitely peaking my headphones before. All right, now let's go to measure 4. I'm going to make sure my cursor is right on measure 4. Hit paste. My top line, I want it to go to E. And I want my bottom line, I'm going to guess it's going to say D flat. Let's see. Perfect. I have D flat and E. So now I'll go back to the beginning by pressing enter. Space bar starts it. How about that? It sounds crazy accurate already. I'm going to turn down the piano just a slight because it gets a little bit annoying with all those notes in a row. All right, now I'm going to zoom out. The next I'm going to add is the left-hand part. The left-hand part, so again, I just need another piano. And the left-hand part, we can actually play this on the keyboard all the way through. It's G on the keyboard, which plays F sharp on the piano. I know that's a little mind game. X for D, C for E, and S for C sharp. So we're going to play G, X, C, S. You want to keep those short and punchy. If we press and hold, it gives a different vibe. And we want a staccato sound. We want a short sound. So we're going to give this a recording all the way through, and I'm going to try and get it right on the first try. Let's see what happens. Whoopsie. Whenever you go to record, make sure your metronome's on. Otherwise, it will just start recording out of nowhere. Here I go. All right. So I could already hear on my try that I had, of course, some rhythmic imperfections, and nothing makes it more obvious than zooming in on your piano scroll and seeing all the mistakes you made. And so again, I'm going to hit Control A, and that selects all those notes. Right click, quantize 1/8, eighth note. The patterns I'm playing, the smallest fraction I want is eighth. If I go to 16th, it might pick a 16th note in either direction based on how late I was. Eighth note's the one we want. If I were to do 1/4, it's going to change my rhythm altogether. So 1/8 is what I'm looking for this time around. Let's see if it lines up now. Very cool. Now, I like the rhythm, I like the sound. It's just not big enough. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my purple cursor back on 1. I copied all of the notes we just played. I'm going to paste them on top of themselves. And then I'm going to drag all the way down an octave lower. So my first note was F sharp or G flat, and I drag the second set down to the lower G flat or F sharp. And let's see what that sounds like. Absolutely, that gives us a little bit more punch. We like that low end. It makes it more fun. Very nice. All right, now we need bass. Now there's 2 bass lines in this song. There's the very chill, calm, boom, boom. And then there's the boo-wee-doo, boo-wee-doo, boo-wee-doo. Did that singing sound perfectly right? I think it did. So what we need to do, let's find a really calm bass. And we're going to go in our categories here to bass synth. We want it to be a synthetic bass. And let's find one that's just round and boo, that sound. Okay, I went straight to Beanie Bass, which I think would be really fun for the second bass line. So I'm going to select it, but then make a whole new track for our next bass sound. So I selected it. I'm not recording on it yet, but I'm going to make a new track, and I just liked it so much I don't want to lose it, because that's what I do. I just get excited about something, and then I forget what it was called. So I'm going on to the next one. Man, 2 for 2. All right, so this Brit Hop, I was call it Birth Hop. Brit Hop bass sounds nice and round, and I'm going to drag it up just because of my grouping. I'm not going to call it OCD, but I just like things to be next to each other. So just like before, when we recorded our left-hand bass line, it's the same letters, G, X, C, S. And we want to match the bass drum from before so that we have that equal boom, our thud with the notes. So we're going to record our metronomes on, and we're going to play that rhythm along with the song. Okay, so I kind of exaggerated my rhythms now. I had a short followed by a very long, and we're going to now quantize. I hit Control A, right click, quantize, eighth note, 1/8. And let's listen to what we created. Awesome. And if you have a way to hear those low frequencies, now I'm talking speakers that are paired with subwoofers, or really good speakers, or great headphones. Now, granted, most headphones today come with a ton of bass in them, but there's a possibility you're listening to this on a cell phone, on a tablet, television without a sound bar, stuff like that, and you'll not hear this frequency. It just won't give you the same boom, the same oomph. So if you have the opportunity, headphones or the best speakers in the house, even something with a subwoofer, and you'll get that great boom, that low feeling we like to hear. Awesome. The last thing we have to do, it's almost over. Is that crazy? We're going to go to this one, which is super exciting. The rhythm for this part, though, is difficult. So you can either play it or go in and click it in. So I'm going to do my best to try and play it. And what I need to do is find out. Awesome. I'm going to mute everything except the drums, so you can hear what this rhythm is. And if you don't know it, it's like the first verse of this song, and it goes, and it's like an E and a. So I leave beat 1 out, and I follow it with 3 quick notes: G, letter, number 3, and back to G. Starting with G. And the only reason I have to record 1 is because if I get the rhythm right in the first one, I can just click and copy and paste around the keyboard once I get it right. All right, let's see if I like the way it sounds. It sounds a little tense. I'm getting a little bit of rhythms. So now I'm gonna go and quantize, and I'm doing something crazy. I'm gonna go into 1/16 because this rhythm is so specific. Let's see what that sounds like. It loses some of its groove. It kind of had a swing vibe to it in the original song. 16th notes, to quantize it to 16th notes is not horrible, but you can hear there's a difference between and this. It's a feel difference, and we can talk about that for days, but instead I'm just going to copy. So if we look here, it's starting on the 3rd square. So normally I'd say take this to 2, but we're actually going to the 3rd square. So there's the 1st square, 2nd square. I'm going to put it right there and hit paste. And there's the same rhythm perfectly played in measure 2. I'm going to move this down to D for dog. All right. Let's move over to number 3. I'm going to the 3rd square. 2, 3, paste. And I'm going to slide this down to E for eagle. And then I'm going to the 4th one. 1, 2, 3, paste. And I'm going down to D flat. Awesome. So if you didn't want to record it originally, you can just take a look or pause the screen and see how many spaces are between each and type in your own if you'd like. So let's hear what this sounds like all together. Not bad. So believe it or not, we are done. I'm going to hide the instrument. We now have everything that we need for the whole song. Now it sounds crazy. That's kind of how music works. They create different ideas and we add and subtract them as the song goes. So now I could perform this entire song just by muting and unmuting the And there you have it. We've recreated Tones and Eyes Dance Monkey with a grand total of 6 tracks. Now, of course, the real song has a lot more attention to detail and a lot more tracks and special nuances that make it awesome. But I feel like this is pretty close for a free app that we get to play around with. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. And also, if you want to comment a song that we should do next, I don't know what is cool because I'm old. So comment below what song we need to do next, and I'll get right on it. Thank you so much. I'll see you later.